and welcome. I'm Ijoma Onyato. Tonight, River State Governor Nyesom Wike claims currency haul amounting to 13 billion naira found in Ikoyi apartment in Lagos belongs to River State. Edo State Election Petitions Tribunal upholds election of Godwin Obaseki as governor, dismisses petition filed by PDP candidate Ize-Iyamu. Bring Back Our Girls group marks third anniversary of abduction over 200 schoolgirls from the government girls secondary school in Chibok, Borno State. And U.S. military authorities defend use of most powerful non-nuclear bomb in Afghanistan, say decision is purely tactical.
And in business news tonight, local industrialists commend Central Bank of Nigeria's latest move for direct forex supply to small and medium businesses.
And in sports news, federal government begins overhaul in sports sector, sets new guidelines for forthcoming election into national sports federations.
And from Abuja, Christians in Nigeria join their counterparts worldwide to observe Good Friday. Religious and secular leaders ask Nigerians to emulate Christ's virtues of love and sacrifice.
We begin tonight in Edo State, South Nigeria, where the State Elections Petition Tribunal today affirmed Godwin Obaseki as the governor of the state. In a judgment delivered on a petition filed by the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Osage Ize-Iyamu, challenging the victory of Mr. Obaseki in the September the 26th election, the tribunal held that the petitions were unable to substantiate their case. It also held that the petition's heavy reliance on voting process made the strength of their case immaterial.
It is a tense atmosphere with heavy security presence at the Edo State High Court, the venue of the Edo State Election Petitions Tribunal. The anxiety is palpable. It is Judgment Day, and the suit filed by the candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the September 2016 Edo governorship election, Pastor Osage Ize-Iyamu, and his party, the PDP. The petition challenged the declaration of Governor Godwin Obaseki as winner of that election. To get into the courtroom, you must first be screened: lawyers, journalists, and politicians. In the courtroom, filled to capacity, and everyone look ahead to the start of the proceedings. At exactly 10 minutes past 9 o'clock, the judges enter to deliver their judgment, which is read by the chairman of the three-man tribunal, Honorable Justice Ahmed Badamasi. The case of the petitioners, which mainly bordered on alleged overvoting, non-compliance with the electoral guideline, corruption of the voting process, and inaccurate ballot counting, were all decided in favor of the second defendant, Mr. Godwin Obaseki of the APC. In the end, the tribunal dismissed the petition of Pastor Ize-Iyamu and his party, the PDP, for lack of merit. The lawyers react to the judgment, and the victor in the case hails the tribunal for its decision.
You could hear from the judgment, a very well-researched judgment, that the opposition or the other party had no grounds. The applications had no grounds of merit whatsoever. This judgment has now rekindled my energy to work for the people of Edo State.
When you listen to the analysis and evaluation of the evidence and the arguments in court, it's very clear that from day one, PDP knew and Ize-Iyamu knew that he had no case. He was never, he had no solid ground to have disputed the decisions of the Edo electorate.
It turns out to be a real street carnival for the APC and Mr. Obaseki's supporters. In the wings is the PDP, planning to challenge the decision of the tribunal, and it appears they're certain that they will come out at the end victorious.
Meanwhile, the Edo State chapter of the People's Democratic Party have reacted to the ruling, which affirmed Mr. Godwin Obaseki as the duly elected governor of the state. Addressing journalists shortly after the verdict in Benin City, the Edo State chairman of the party, Mr. Dan Obi, as well as the party's governorship candidate Osage Ize-Iyamu, said the party rejects the verdict in its entirety and insists that everything will be done within the law to reclaim their mandate.
For us as a party, we believe the mandate that was freely given to us by Edo people, we have a responsibility to retrieve it. Yes. Irrespective of the judgment that was delivered this morning, I would like to assure you that we have discussed with our team of lawyers and we have taken a decision that the party will go on appeal to the Court of Appeal. By Tuesday, we will get copies of the judgment and they will go to work. I have no doubt in my mind that we are fighting a just cause.
I know that many of you were very expectant today. You trooped out in large numbers. But I told some people yesterday, I said, I know that our case is good. I know that we will win this case. I know God is on our side. But because of the way our system is, I have my fears. I said I will wait at home to hear the judgment. And today, while people were there, people were sending me on WhatsApp with text messages, what was happening in court. I don't want you to be worried at all about what has happened. By the grace of God, at the end of the day, we shall be declared winner. Amen.
More revelations are emerging on the large cash haul uncovered by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission in an apartment in the Ikoyi area of Lagos on Wednesday. The Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike says the money belongs to Rivers State. Governor Wike said this during a press conference at the Government House in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital. A federal high court in Lagos yesterday ordered the temporary forfeiture of the funds to the federal government and gave till May the 5th for any interested party in the funds to show cause why the money should not be permanently forfeited to the federal government.
That money belongs to the Rivers State government, and the federal government should return the money to the coffers of the state government. I want to tentatively agree with him that this government should tell Nigerians the truth. Enough is enough of all these monies being recovered. One from Kaduna Airport, so millions of naira, nobody knows. Down to a shop in Lagos, down to a market. The only one we are told has to do the former group managing director of NNPC. Luckily for us, 2 days ago, precisely, they recovered $43 billion and some other currencies in one of the highbrow areas, Ikoyi.
Now, today marks the 3rd year anniversary of the abduction of over 200 schoolgirls from the Government Girls Secondary School in Chibok, Borno State. The Bring Back Our Girls group, which has been campaigning for the rescue of the girls, rounded off 7 days of commemorative events with a lecture. The occasion, which brought together Nigerians and members of the diplomatic corps. Our correspondent Ajuri Ngelale reports.
Three years after the abduction of the Chibok girls, emotions were raw and palpable as relatives of the girls and BBOG members converged not just to remember what happened, but also to chart the course of tomorrow's action. As the tragedy is commemorated, art tells a story.
A wife who left home and did not come back, a mother who died in the arms of her children. It is Nyanya whose wounds will never heal. Nyanya whose heart will always feel for a girl took her dreams and went to school, but on that day she did not come back. Lord, why?
gentlemen.
Nigeria's first female doctoral graduate and Vice-Chancellor, Professor Grace Alele Williams, bemoans a lack of conscience in society.
Why do we have all these senators, assemblymen at the center? Why do we have in our state governments, those who guard our state, those who decide on how much money we can spend and what we can spend it on? And they're concerned about 100 girls being taken out of their constituency and nothing, no remark. Everybody just sits down as if it never happened. It's like a foregone story. Where are we all? Do we think about them at all? If we don't, please may I beg of each one of you here, not only from northeastern Nigeria, but from every part of Nigeria, ask the question over and over again. Has the Chibok affair become too late to even think about?
In a recorded message, Emir of Kano, Mohammed Sanusi II, says the progress of the girl child will determine the progress of northern Nigeria and broader society.
It's a discourse that is at the heart of the failure of social policy in our country, and it raises questions about governance. For this reason, it is important for every member of the elite, from politicians and government officials, to emirs and religious leaders, to intellectuals and NGOs, to make sure that these issues are on the table.
As the first ever non-title holder to represent an emir, Emir Mohammed Sanusi II sends his daughter to deliver his address.
The reality is that everything in this world is fragile. Life itself will come to an end, and we lose money and position and loved ones all the time. The only thing we have control over is who we are, what we stand for, what we represent. Being a coward or a sycophant will not add one day to your life.
The collective emotion of the gathering turned sorrowful as a mother of a missing Chibok girl became overcome with emotion stemming from 3 years of unending grief. As the event closes, the Bring Back Our Girls group makes their intention known once more.
Our Chibok girls were called priorities by the government in power when it sought power. Now that it has found power, it must do right by our Chibok girls.
In a society known to weigh value by net worth, a common understanding that every life is of equal value underlies a determined movement seeking the return of 195 lost young women in indefinite pursuit for what has been an indefinite tragedy. Ajuri Ngelale, Channels Television News.